Marcus got a raise on a Thursday. Not a small one. A real one. $11,000 a year. The kind of number that makes your hands shake a little when HR slides the paper across the table. He called his wife from the parking lot. She screamed. Their daughter, 5 years old, heard the screaming and started screaming too. By Saturday, they were at a furniture store. Not because the old couch was broken. It wasn't. The new couch cost $4,200. The raise, after taxes, came out to about $640 a month. The couch payment was $260 a month. Marcus spent the drive home doing the math in his head. He'd invested, he told himself. He just needed to get settled first. He never invested the $380. Because 2 months later, the car started making a sound. And the new car payment was $310 a month. And the $380 became $70. And then his daughter needed tutoring. And then they went on a vacation. And then the apartment felt too small. And the cycle continued. Not because Marcus was stupid. Not because his wife was irresponsible. They had a folder on their computer labeled financial goals that they opened twice a year. Marcus wasn't failing. By every visible measure, he was winning. But the account balance told a different story. And Marcus knew it. He knew it every time he did the math at 2 a.m. My name is Horizon, and I've spent a genuinely embarrassing amount of time studying why smart people with good incomes end up with almost nothing. The psychology, the neuroscience, the specific moment the trap snaps shut. Lifestyle inflation isn't a character flaw. It's not laziness. It's not greed. It's a feature of human psychology that was perfectly useful for most of human history. There's a word for what happened to Marcus. Economists have had it for decades. It's called lifestyle inflation. The gap between what you earn and what you spend is the only thing that ever builds wealth. Lifestyle inflation destroys the gap. Not all at once. Gradually. Pleasantly, even. One reasonable decision at a time. The problem isn't any single decision. The problem is the pattern. That assumption is the trap. Before we go anywhere near the math, we need to talk about your brain. It is working very hard, right now, against your long-term financial interests. Not out of malice. Out of biology. It doesn't process it as an absolute. It processes it as a relative. There's a concept in psychology called the hedonic treadmill. Humans have a set point for happiness. When something good happens, happiness goes up. When something bad happens, it goes down. But within a surprisingly short window, it returns to the baseline. The new couch, the one that cost $4,200, stopped producing satisfaction at roughly the same time the first payment was due. This is called hedonic adaptation. The good feeling from something new is generated by the contrast between old and new. Once the new becomes familiar, the contrast disappears. And so does the good feeling. The only way to get the feeling back is more contrast. A newer new thing. The treadmill never stops. You just run faster on it. Every upgrade you make to your lifestyle doesn't just cost money once. It raises your emotional baseline permanently. Going back doesn't just feel like losing the new thing. It feels like a punishment. This is why people with high incomes can feel genuinely deprived. There's a second psychological mechanism running underneath lifestyle inflation. It's called relative deprivation. Person A earns $70,000. Everyone around them earns $50,000. Person A feels better. Person B earns $90,000. Everyone around them earns $120,000. Person B feels worse. Because humans don't measure their financial situation against some absolute standard. We measure it against the people we can see. This is why a salary that felt amazing starts to feel inadequate 2 years later. Thorstein Veblen had a name for the behavior this pressure produces. He called it conspicuous consumption. Spending not for utility, but to communicate status to the people around you. He was writing about Gilded Age robber barons. But the mechanism is identical in a suburban apartment complex in 2025. The cars in the parking lot. The vacations on the group chat. The kitchen renovation your neighbor mentioned twice. None of it is need. All of it is signal. And the signals cost real money that should be building real wealth. Let me show you where it gets modern. Your phone is a lifestyle inflation machine. You are comparing yourself to a curated highlight reel of thousands of people's lives, simultaneously. Every comparison that goes the wrong way activates relative deprivation, which creates pressure, which creates spending. A study found that the more time people spent on social media, the worse their financial decision-making. Your phone is a lifestyle inflation machine, and you're paying a subscription to carry it in your pocket. Let me show you two versions of Marcus. Both Marcuses start at 30 years old. Both earn $60,000 a year. Marcus 1 practices lifestyle inflation. His savings rate stays flat at about 6%. Marcus 2 does one thing differently. When a raise comes, he saves half. Marcus 1 retires with approximately $840,000. Marcus 2 retires with $2,300,000. The gap between those two numbers is $1,460,000. Not from earning more. Not from getting lucky. From the simple decision about what to do with money the moment it arrives. Marcus 1 is going from $130,000 a year to $33,600 a year. That is not retirement. That is collapse. Let's talk about raises specifically. When you get a raise, your brain doesn't immediately feel richer. It feels like you've been confirmed. The raise isn't just money, it's validation. It's the organization telling you that you are worth more. People who earn more live differently. That's the implicit message. And your brain reads it. You upgraded the couch because you deserved a better couch. And also, somewhere underneath, because a better couch is what people at your new income level have. There's a concept called the arrival fallacy. The belief that once you reach a certain milestone, you'll feel the satisfaction you've been anticipating. The fallacy is that the satisfaction of arrival is almost always smaller and shorter than expected. It's followed, almost immediately, by a new horizon, a new destination to chase. I'll start investing seriously when I make $100,000 a year. Except when you get there, the lifestyle has expanded to match it. The destination isn't a number, it's a feeling. And the feeling can't be purchased. Let me introduce you to Priya. She earns $115,000 a year. She leases a BMW 3 Series, $790 a month. She dines out 4 or 5 times a week because she's earned it. Her savings rate is 4%. She is 29 years old. If Priya continues at this rate, she will retire with approximately $750,000. Every dollar she spends on signals is doing two things simultaneously: buying present tense status and stealing from future Priya. Humans value present rewards more than future rewards. $100 today feels more valuable than $150 in 2 years. Brain imaging studies show that when people think about their future self, the brain activity looks similar to thinking about a stranger. When you skip saving to fund your lifestyle, you are neurologically stealing from someone who feels like a stranger. That stranger will one day be you. Call it identity lock-in. When you upgrade your lifestyle, you don't just change your spending, you change who you are. The nice apartment isn't just square footage, it's your address. It's where you tell people you live. Cutting back doesn't feel like a smart financial decision, it feels like failure. Lifestyle inflation is so much harder to reverse than it is to prevent. Prevention is easy. Reversal is psychologically brutal. There's a word that shows up constantly when you talk to people about their spending: deserving. Deserving the raise doesn't mean you're obligated to spend it. The language of deserving is the thing that makes that conflict invisible. Think about what happens when your income goes up and your spending doesn't. Your friends expect you to keep up. Building wealth quietly while people around you spend visibly is a genuinely isolating experience. Every $100 a month that doesn't go into lifestyle and goes instead into an invested account becomes $243,000. Not getting the slightly nicer apartment. $400 monthly delta. Over 30 years at 7%. $970,000. The wealth isn't built by earning more. It's built by resisting the automatic impulse to spend more every time you earn more. Automate the savings transfer to happen the day the paycheck clears, before the money ever feels available. Money that never hits your spending account never enters the available money psychological bucket. The default becomes saving. The effort becomes spending. Call it the half and half rule. When income increases, automatically redirect half the after-tax increase to savings before you adjust your lifestyle. Before any significant lifestyle upgrade, ask whether you're making a one-time purchase or a recurring commitment. Recurring commitments compound. One-time experiences are just living. The wealth-building identity says, I am the person who builds things. I am defined by what I'm creating. The stealth wealth person who drives the F-150 and retires with $3 million. Sandra. At 48, Sandra has a net worth of $980,000. Her car is a 2019 Honda CR-V with 81,000 miles. Nobody in her office knows she's almost a millionaire. Her family assumes she's doing okay. The security is the reward, not the stuff. The feeling of knowing that a job loss, a health problem, a bad year, would hurt but would not break you. That feeling, that specific feeling of being unbreakable, it's not available for purchase. It's only available for accumulation. The gap is the whole thing. Don't let the lifestyle close it.